$242,500 a month is what you could be making with just 25% of 10,000 followers that paid you $97 a month for a school community, or it could be similar to a high ticket program. This is all with just 10,000 followers, which is relatively not that many. And a lot of creators and entrepreneurs with way more followers are making nothing from it. And here's a problem a lot of you creators and entrepreneurs have that want to sell their expertise. You already have the hardest part, which is followers. You already have people who trust you. You have a community that would pay if you actually sold them something, but you do not have an offer, or if you do not have systems behind it. Systems like funnels, emails, a conversion event. And even if you have systems and you have everything figured out, you can't run this yourself. And why do I say this? Because you are already the face of everything. You can't be the operator as well. Or if you are, you cannot run this at a larger scale simply because you will be capped by your time. So in this video, I'm going to break down the same exact system Alex Hormozi used to break the world record. So yes, this system works. He did a 10-hour webinar. His main offer was a $4,000 offer. And trust me, this offer was very good because I myself bought it. So with this offer, he was able to do $100 million in one day. And it breaks down to one simple structure: traffic into a conversion event, the conversion event into an offer, and the offer turns into revenue. And I'm going to break down exactly how each part of this works. So first, the offer. It could be a low ticket, for example, like a school community, and really it can be anything under $500. This works amazing if you have a big audience and you have good engagement throughout your content. The way they would buy this is directly, so you do not have to do the selling. And then there's high ticket, like coaching and then done for you. This ranges from $2,000 and up. This works ideal when you're selling transformation. And on here, you would have to hop on sales calls, or we would hire a closer for that. Hormozi sold a $4,000 package, a high ticket. But most importantly, out of these two offers, is that the offer has to match your audience and what they would actually pay for. So you have to understand your audience and its acquisition power. And this is how we would structure an offer. This is so you can get an idea. Next is traffic. Obviously, you have a big audience already, so you know how to leverage your organic and how to get views. But once we combine this with paid, it's a whole nother monster because we're reaching new audiences. Hormozi had both. He already had a very massive organic following, and he added ads on top of that. And this was the main reason he was able to reach that $100 million record. And I can guarantee if he would have done it 100% organic, he would not have reached that record. So ideally, it's organic and paid ads, both pushing it into the conversion event, which was the webinar. There's different types of organic content that we would do. I really don't want to touch deep onto this part because you already mastered this part. Essentially, we would just add some bottom of the funnel content in there as well, so we can do some selling. Paid traffic is a little bit different when we are running towards this type of action. For example, a webinar. But really, I'm not going to dive deep into this. I just want to clear that our main goal for this is for our cost of registration to be from $10 to $30. This is a little bit high, but the reason why is because we want it to be a very high quality lead. We do not want to waste money on people who will not buy from us. Third is the conversion event. This is where the selling is going to be happening. There are different types of funnels. There's webinars, VSLs, challenges, call funnels. I'm just going to talk about webinars for now. Hormozi used a webinar, a 10-hour one. I like webinars because they are a way to sell one-to-many, and if it's structured correctly, it's very, very profitable. So ideally, we would be running webinars every single month. The webinar structure is mostly depending on the niche, but ideally we would position it as a free class. But honestly, it's just disguised as a sales presentation plus giving some value. This is an example of how a webinar would look. Like I said, it depends on what we're selling, but it's so you can get an idea. The traffic generated is going to a registration page. They sign up and they show up. It's honestly very simple. And here's a good example of how a registration page would look like. And here's an example of how a bad one would look like. I see this every 7 out of 10 webinars. And to be completely honest with you, it hurts my eyes seeing a registration page set up like this because you are burning money. So if you are a creator, this is a reason why a good operator is important, because if not, you will be burning money on bad registration pages like this. And this is one of the backend parts: the email and SMS reminder sequence. This is a very important to have. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it's just we want to make sure they show up. So here's an example of how they would look like. This is a very basic version, but I want you to get to the sense of what I'm talking about. I would typically add nurturing sequences throughout this sequence, so we make sure we're not going into the spam folder. Now the post webinar. I wanted to add this on here as well because not everyone buys on webinars. But that doesn't mean they're never going to buy it. They probably just need a little bit more nurturing. And this is the reason why we have this in the webinar. So we make sure our percentage of closes are a little bit higher so we can nurture them throughout the emails. Here's an example of how it would look like. Obviously, it's a very simple example. It goes more into detail. And everyone's favorite part, the math. So here's how the math will work. 1,000 registrations saying 30% showed up, which is 300. Let's say out of these 300, 80% stayed to the offer, which is towards the end, which is 240. 240 of those, 25% actually booked a call, which is 60. Out of those 60, 80% actually showed up to the call, which is typically higher than usual because these people are already nurtured. They watched our webinar, so which is good. Let's say out of those 48 that showed up, we only closed 30 of those. And if we're selling a high ticket at $4,000, we made 14 sales, which is $56,000 from one webinar. Again, Hormozi did this at a massive scale because he invested millions and millions of dollars on paid ads alone. But it's the same math whether you have a 30,000 followers or 3 million. It just depends on how much we're investing into the webinar. And I'm going to show you something where every single person falls short, which is data analytics. Every step we just covered has data, and it's highly important to be tracking each step, because if not, we are just guessing, and you do not want to be guessing when we're investing $20,000 into one webinar. And this is the data we want to be tracking: cost per registrations, show up rates, retention rate, conversion rates, close rate, average order value, and a couple other more. The reason we want to track this is because we would know exactly where our funnel is leaking. And trust me, even if you're the best marketer in the world, your funnel is going to leak. Here are some examples of leaks that can be in any single funnel. One leak can cost thousands of dollars, so we must find it, fix it, and then we can optimize it. And like I said at the beginning, you shouldn't be the one figuring this out yourself. You are the creator, the entrepreneur, the coach, or whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. Your job is to create a fucking awesome product. That's what your audience pays for. My job as an operator is to sell it, build the funnel, run the traffic, optimize the metrics, and most importantly, scale the revenue. And I'm going to be 100% transparent with you. This is my main goal: scale the revenue. Why? Because we would be taking a percentage of the revenue generated. So if you make money, I make money. Pretty self-explanatory. So if you're a creator, an entrepreneur, or someone that wants to sell their expertise, and you're spending your time learning funnels instead of making a very good product, you are wasting time. And to be honest with you, if you rather save money than scale a great product, everything I just showed you isn't for you. If you have the audience or are the entrepreneur that wants to sell their expertise, and most importantly, you have something worth of selling, because I will not help anybody that is willing to scam or trying to make a quick bag off their audience and want help scaling this to another level, there is a link below so we can see if we're a fit. And if you found this valuable, subscribe.